Trip to the plantation. Yeah, I could see it. I could feel the frustration in here, but that was the point of this.
I only went 2 times.
Yeah, we got a little swirly, but hey, give me your ice. Give me your ice. We got a little squirrely, but it's a Friday afternoon, and that was a fun activity, I think. Was it not?
Well, kind of, but yeah, it was. TGIF.
Yeah, TGIF. Okay. So, if I put this example narrative up here, you guys know that if you copy their details, that that's going to be an F. I'm not going to give you an A for somebody else's work. But this gives you an idea of what I mean by supporting details. I'm going to put it under the projector.
So how are we supposed to do this?
Well, we're going to get started. Hey, look at this.
Jeez,
Walking away from the fields, I felt an ache in my back. I stopped to stretch, and when I looked up, I noticed that my overseer was no longer there. He must have left early. I thought to myself, this is my chance. I have to go for it. I ran as rapidly as I could, forgetting about my aches and pains. Just as I had reached the road, you see what we're doing here? Starting somewhere, and we're putting details in between where we ended up to make a story that I'm going to have to read 24 of these. I want them to be fabulous, okay? Just as I had reached the road, I heard shouting. Another slave owner had spotted me. I knew that I was caught and would be returned to the plantation. After arriving back, I quickly went back to my cabin to rest my once again aching back. Opening the door, I saw my friends working on their freedom quilt. I sat down to join them, and I shared what I had seen that evening so that we could add my memories to the quilt. You guys remember the quilt we looked at in the library? That night, when it was pitch black, I decided to try again. This time I headed for the woods. It began to storm, so I found shelter under a large tree, and I stayed for the night. I must have fallen asleep because the next thing I knew, I was shaken awake by the overseer. He screamed at me the whole way back to the plantation. But that wasn't anywhere on this. They came up with those details on their own to make this interesting to read. I knew I wasn't done. The next chance I saw, I was back on the road again. Once again, though, I was discovered and returned to the plantation. Again, I took off at my first chance and followed the North Star into the woods. Woods, yes, into the woods. That is where I remain. I have found shelter in the woods and wait for the right moment to take my next steps towards freedom. So that would be a person who didn't make it to the North story. We ended, and we did not end up in the North. That's perfectly fine. That was the point of this. How many did we have? 8 out of 24 of you made it. So, ooh, that's a good math problem. 8 out of 24.
16.
24
So
16.
that would be a fraction problem. I don't think we're actually quite there yet. Yeah, we're gonna. Forget I said that. We're not quite there in fractions yet.
I'm not Mr. C.
So do you guys understand what I mean by supporting details in between your spots that you have on your roll sheet? Sorry, honey. On your roll sheet? Do you guys have an idea of what I'm wanting you to do?
No.
Yes.
John Tess?
That
I'll
would
work with.
actually be 8 out of 24.
Okay, we're done with the math, but thank you. So, other than John Tess, is anyone else having trouble? You're not understanding what I mean? Okay, so I began at the abolitionist's home. He was trying to help me make my way to freedom. But when I was on the road with the abolitionist, a stranger came along and sent me back to the plantation. You've got to come up with things that justify why you got sent to each place. I know all of you are very creative. I know that all of you can come up with a really cool story. You guys can get creative, you can get silly, as long as it's appropriate. You can have this be funny. I know you can have it be funny. This, I would love to laugh as I read these. I would love to laugh as I read these.
Yes, I have chicken in it.
See? There you go. It can be silly. It just has to be what? Appropriate. Okay. All right. I want the number ones to get notebook paper out for your group. Number ones, notebook paper out. If you don't have a number one at your table, I know you can figure it out and have somebody get it. Thank you. Voice is off. Yes. Make sure your name is at the top of your paper. I know you got this. Where'd you start out?
Plantation.
You guys? Give me 5. I got one more instruction. If you guys want to work with the people at your table to help with the creativity, please feel free, but I want 6-inch voices.
Do you want to say him?
No, I want you to stay at your tables, okay? Go, Marcos. Write your name.
Marcella, maybe? Jeff, sit with another group, work with them, if you choose to work with them.
Yes.
Because you're an entire group of them.
Yes.
Think you're scaring them all away?
I know. Got that, Damien?
Okay, I read it. Okay, this makes sense. At first, I started with plantation.
If it's too difficult, or if you have any problems, please come out to the podium, okay?
Stranger who had a chicken. I mean, because a chicken doesn't, but he can have a chicken. Yeah, he could totally have a chicken. There you go. I love it. I love it. Do you want to, are you having trouble? Okay, can we get started?
Okay, if you don't know how to spell that,
Mr. C said that he'd be glad to work.
Yes.
Okay, I want to see what great ideas you can come up with. Okay, I want you to go get it out, okay? I know you're having a really frustrating day, but let's go find it. Let's go. Grab one of the sharpened ones, please. Same rules as when Miss Kenzie is in here.
If we start counting,
No, the nurse isn't going to do anything. We have 20 minutes till school, okay? So I need you to either sit down and write or join Mr. C, okay? You could be at the cabin eating dinner, yes. Yes. First, I start at the yes. That's a great start. I love it. Okay.